regular city council meeting of August the 2nd, 2022. This time we'll stand for a invocation by Chad Mills and Bud Mills by Travis Beard. Chad?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Bow our head. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for this opportunity. Ask that you give us the leadership and guidance to make the right decisions to further our city. Watch over, protect, direct us in a manner that will glorify you in all that we do. We ask all these things in your son's name. Amen.
Pledge tonight is going to be led by Troop 12, and Tanner Jones is going to bring his group forward and lead us in the pledge.
Attention. Salute. Flag.
This time we're going to call the meeting to order, and I asked Travis Beard, the Vice President of the Council, to confirm or amend the agenda and the agenda order.
Mr. President, I'd like to amend the agenda by adding 2 items to our agenda. The first item is number 32. It's an amendment for Fair Park restrooms, and also on the study agenda to add to discuss the speed table policy and procedure.
We have a second? Second. I got a second by Mr. Palmer. All in favor? Motion carries. We're going to go to the proclamations, recognition, and reports agenda. Any proclamations?
No.
Recognition of Boys and Girl Scouts.
Yes, we have 3 here tonight, and when I call your name, would you please stand? And this is Boy Scout Troop 12, sponsored by First United Methodist Church. The main badges tonight are citizenship in the community and communication, and they are led by Mr. Tupelo. So when I call your name, please stand. Tanner Jones. Tanner is the son of David and Jean Jones. Colton Green. Colton is the son of Jason and Ashley Green. And Will Terry. And Will is the son of Paul and Amanda Terry. Thank you, guys.
Do you have any board recognitions? This time we'll move to public recognition. We'll start with Chad. Chad?
I don't have any.
Janet?
Yes, I would just like to congratulate the Tupelo Aquatic Center and the city of Tupelo for successfully hosting the 2022 USA Swimming Southern Zone Age Group Championships, I like to say. There were 533 swimmers and over 1,700 spectators during the 5-day event. As you can imagine, it took a lot of volunteers, the parents of the Shockwave swim team, as well as many employees from the city. And the employees were mostly from the CVB, Tupelo Parks and Rec, and also the Aquatic Center staff. And I want to give a special shout out to the following people who spent a lot of time there during those 5 days and were also involved in the planning and preparation of such a huge event. Those people are Barbara Gary, Cameron Brando, Ashley Martin, Jennifer Pannell, Mel Roberts, and Allison Goodman. So I'd like to thank everybody in Tupelo, especially the people that I mentioned.
Rosie?
Yes, I would like to thank everyone who participated in Dance with the Stars this weekend for the Boys and Girls Club. I do believe it was over $266,000 raised, which I think is more than the most ever since they've been having it, and thanks for everybody's participation.
Buddy?
Yes, I'd just like to kind of back up what Janet said about the Aquatic Center. And Janet, you said there were a lot of people there, right? So I hope the Major Thoroughfare Committee hears that, and maybe soon we'll get a third lane out there to help alleviate some of that traffic. Thank you.
Ms. Natty?
I would like to thank all of those who worked very hard and diligent to make the Lee Williams Festival a success. It was a 2-day thing, and people came from all over the city, along with the activities at the Aquatic Center, all of the other activities going on in the community. We had, I think all the hotels were full. So that really boosts tourism a whole lot. So I'd like to thank you for that, and I'd like to thank those who wished me a happy birthday. I had a birthday on the 31st. Got a little old. I won't tell you how old I was, but it was a very special day for me.
Travis?
I don't have anything.
So I have 4 things. The first one is I'd like to give a positive shout out to VFW Post 4057. So in Bristow Acres, we have a 95-year-old Korean War vet whose wooden post mailbox post broke ground level, and on a very hot day, the president of the post, Joe Torrett, and a fellow member, Jimmy Clark, showed up over there and fixed him up and got him back in business again. So I'd like to thank those two. I'd like to congratulate our wish Nettie Davis a happy birthday. She turned 35 Sunday. Today's my 32nd wedding anniversary, so if y'all run into my wife at the employee pharmacy, y'all tell her happy anniversary tomorrow. And I'd like to issue an apology to Leslie Moore. During our last work session, I cut her off abruptly. I didn't mean to do it. We had to go into a special session, but I should have been a lot more tactful in the way I did it. So, Leslie, I hope you accept my apology. Mayor?
Just when I thought that you were always too hard, then you make an apology. So do we congratulate your wife or what?
2 different people.
I don't have much. Y'all pretty much said everything, and Janet and everybody talked about the aquatic center. When we invest in our sports fields and aquatic center, that's really the economic driver of the city of Tupelo. And we're talking about 500-something people here from 6 or 7 states. And we weren't number 1 on the list. We had to fight for that. So a good job by Alex also and Amy Kennedy, the director. And it just takes countless hours to get that going. And we're a little bit above most people around when it comes to facilities. And we appreciate the support of the council when we want to do something as far as sports. And we're always investing. I know pickleball has always been a hot topic, and looking to move forward on that, and more turf athletic fields. So when you hear there's a lot of money, it just costs a lot of money to do those things, and we appreciate the council's support. And again, Nettie, happy birthday! I saw Nettie at the Slim Chickens soft opening, 4 generations, her daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter. So that was an interesting sight. So appreciate everybody being here. And I kind of made a joke last time afterwards that we need to have more controversial topics because we get the public involved. But appreciate everyone being here, and the council has some hard decisions tonight, and we're just here to pray that they make the right one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we're going to close the regular meeting and open the public agenda. Public hearings, item 1, in a matter of public hearing on the 2022 budget. Kim? Or anyone wants to speak to the budget? Jeff?
Good evening. My name is Jeff Tomlinson. I'm the director of the Lee County Library. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your support of the library. The library is a valuable resource of the community, providing books and materials and programming for all ages. Last year, patrons borrowed 100,000 items from the library. More than 1,000 people have signed up for a library card so far this year. And people are making use of the library's wireless internet and public computers with 70,000 logins. Children's programming, especially the summer reading program continues to be a great impact in our community, with over 1,600 children attending programs this summer and more than 7,000 children's items checked out in June alone. Did want to give you a quick update on the new bookmobile. We have a finish date of August the 19th with a delivery to follow soon afterward. We look forward to having a reliable means of providing mobile library services in the coming fiscal year, and thank you all for your support of this project. As always, anyone who lives, works, or goes to school in Lee County is eligible for a library card, and what better time than this back-to-school season to visit the library and sign up for a library card. Thank you for your time, support, and of the library.
Thank you, Jeff. Next up, we got Robbie Parham.
Hello, thank y'all for having me. It's a little intimidating seeing the big crowd. It's usually not this big, so, but thank y'all. My name is Robbie Parham. I'm the director of the Regional Rehabilitation Center here in town. Number one, I want to thank the city of Tupelo and what you guys mean to us, allowing us to continue our mission of doing physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, early intervention services, and dyslexia services, doing that all free of charge and not charging insurance or Medicaid. And there's no doubt we couldn't do that without the city of Tupelo's support, and we greatly appreciate it. We're really excited. We've got our largest staff we've ever had. In fact, today we just hired Kendall Walker as a dyslexia therapist to the rehab center, which makes 22 members on staff at the rehab center, and we are pumped. Our dyslexia department has grown from 2 people in that department about 5 years ago to now we have 6 in that department, with 2 people doing evaluations, and we also have 4 people who are doing the actual therapy and seeing the kids. This past year we saw 1,168 people at the rehab center. That equaled over 55,000 services, and right here in Lee County we saw over 600 people from right here in Lee County. And again, we couldn't do that without you. This last week we were able to hire an occupational therapy assistant. That waiting list in occupational therapy had gotten up to about 5 months, so she'll help alleviate that waiting list. There's nothing worse than when a parent calls me and says, "I can't wait for my 4-year-old to get therapy. We need it now," and to be able to get them in would be a huge deal. I know I've taught many years, and what I've wanted to start doing is actually bring in a family from here in Tupelo to come say a few words and let you know what your investment is going to. So I asked Miss Lee Monroe, Mr. Connor, and my boy is here too. He wore a suit because he wanted to meet the mayor and the city council. He looks a lot better than me, but his buddy is Connor, so he wanted to come up with Connor.
Okay.
There are so many wonderful things that I could say about regional rehab, and I honestly don't know Connor's story without them being in it. Connor was diagnosed with autism shortly after his 2nd birthday, and we started speech and OT there. He was diagnosed as level 2, moderate to severe, and nonverbal. And as you can see, he is verbal. He can say a lot more than he is right now, but he's a little nervous, as I am. Not only is he verbal, thanks to our wonderful speech therapist at the center, he also functions in a regular education classroom at Thomas Street Elementary. Occupational therapy also helped develop his fine motor skills as well as his sensory coping mechanisms. I know Connor would not be where he is today without the services of Regional Rehab Center. Our family will forever be grateful to them and their wonderful therapists for everything they've done for Connor and so many other individuals in our community. On behalf of our family and many others, thank you to the City of Tupelo for your continued support of Regional Rehab Center. Thank you.
She did a lot better than me. The last thing I want to say, if you know of anybody that needs our help, and this goes for our crowd too, if you know of anybody that needs our help, don't hesitate to call me personally. The only thing we need for OT and PT is a doctor's prescription. The rest is just an application. There's no sliding scale fee or anything like that. We see people who might be struggling financially to people who might have a 2-person income that they rent out of their insurance visit. So whatever we can do to help, please let us know. But thank y'all. We also have our Vice President of the Board, Richard Babb, and Mr. Holland, I don't think made it, but I want to recognize him. But thank y'all again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Any other to speak for the 2022 budget. Item 2, in the matter of public hearing on lot mowings. Anybody here to speak on lot mowing? Item 3, in the matter of public hearing for property cleaning and debris removal of 1015 Chickasaw Trail. Anybody here to speak on the debris removal at 1015 Chickasaw Trail? At this time, we're going to move to the citizens' hearings. The first person up is Frank Anger. Please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Good evening, and thank y'all for letting me address y'all tonight on the project being proposed for Colonial Estates Road. My name is Frank Anger. I've lived in Tupelo for 40-plus years and currently reside at 4158 South Bloom Boulevard in Cottonwood Estates. Last February, I saw the sign on the side of the road on Colonial Estates advertising for a project that was proposed, so I reached out and talked to the folks, or sent them an email, and they responded, and they sent me a rendering of the proposed project. I had some concerns, but my main concern was the traffic flow on Colonial Estates Road. I live on the corner house, so I can sit on my back porch and watch the cars go up and down the road, and I've renamed it the Colonial Estates Raceway. I've seen police cars parked on the south side of the railroad tracks, and if they have a quota, which I don't think they do, I don't think they'd have any problem getting enough tickets written on that road. The road is very narrow. There are no shoulders on the road. If you have to go in avoidance of a vehicle, you're going in a ditch. I read where they consider this an economic development. I would think as an economic development that would be a stretch of the imagination. Short term maybe, long term very, very doubtful. I realize the council has to make some hard decisions. This should not be a hard decision. That is why we're opposed to it, and we thank you for your time and consideration.
So next we have Adrian Caldwell. Maybe if you could come to the podium, state your name and your address, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. Tonight, my name is Adrian Caldwell. I live at 2756 Prairie View Circle in Belden, Mississippi. And I would really, first of all, like to thank each and every one of you that are serving on this council. I know that you have and hold such heavy obligations in your hands, and I know it must weigh heavy on your hearts and in all of your prayers. This particular problem is, our objection that we have, weighs heavy in our hearts and in our prayers as well. I feel like Tupelo has a vested interest in the conflict over this Flowerdale Commons apartment project. Those of us represent over 200 homes and quite a number of businesses that stand to be negatively impacted with this complex on Colonial Estates Road. Obviously, the zoning code can be interpreted in more than one way. And Tupelo already has 42% plus rental property available. The national average is 36%. We questioned the traffic study also. Mr. Rutledge presented that Colonial Estates Road could handle the extra traffic generated by this 40-unit, 107 parking space complex. Documentation from the Daily Journal states that at least 2,900 vehicles drive this road daily during peak hours. Consider too that 5 trains cross this road daily. and hold up traffic. I'm disturbed that these developers are so determined to and adamant to force you to approve this particular location when there are other options available. I'm not a businesswoman, but I understand the city of Tupelo has approved projects for this Oxford developer in the past. I would think that you would want to keep the camaraderie and cooperation of our city council and our city residents very important to your heart. If you choose to vote to approve this apartment complex, this may sound ugly, but I think Mr. Jones and Mr. Rutledge will be high-fiving it all the way back to Oxford. I'm sorry, that may sound ugly, but we've sent a message to, but I don't want you to send a message to your constituents that you value outside developers more than the people we represent. I don't mean that ugly, I just have a vested interest in my home. It's my last home, it's where I want to be until I have to go to the home. And I love where I live, and I just want it to keep its property value up. Please oppose the Planning Commission's decision to deny the Flowerdale Commons apartment complex in this location. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, we have Sharon Cresswell. If you could please come to the podium and state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes, ma'am.
All right, I'll try hard not to be emotional, but that's just me, so just get prepared. My name is Sharon Cresswell, and I live at 4120 South Bloom Boulevard. Basically, I've written something, because I will cry, but just bear with me. Home is probably the single most important physical foundation that we have in our lives. Everything that's familiar to you, that's loving, sentimental, and treasured is our home. It's our place of safety, security, shelter, and peace. Cottonwood Estates is home to 76 such homeowners. There are many stories about how and why these are happy, satisfied folks, and how they decided on Tupelo, Mississippi, and Cottonwood Estates to invest their lives and their finances. Cindy, my neighbor, moved here from Utah. She had a friend that lived on Cotton Bowl Lane, and when she searched 5 states and she did not find the same security, safety, and community that she was searching for. So she chose Tupelo, Mississippi, and Cottonwood Estates as her forever home. Adrienne, who just spoke, her story's a little different. Her husband passed away after a 50-year marriage. She was left to care for a large home and a yard, and there was just no way it could be. So her search began. She found Cottonwood through her realtor, and she said after walking through the door of a home that was for sale, she immediately said, I can move right in. It was just what she needed and what she was looking for. My story's a little different. I came here from a lifetime in Oklahoma. After I retired, I felt like I needed to be near my sons. Both of them are career military, and they were in Texas. So off I went to Texas. 7 months, I looked for a house that had my name on it. I decided that that probably wasn't going to be. In the meantime, my youngest was sent here to Tupelo, the Reserve Center. So he and his wife started sending me emails and FaceTiming properties. The one that got me in my car for a 12-hour drive was my home on Bloom. And as soon as I walked in, I knew it was my home. The reason that I told you these stories, and I do apologize, I get so emotional, but we all have different reasons to choose our homes. Everyone wants to feel safe. There's no doubt about that. Everyone wants to feel like that they've invested their money in the right place and that they want a good community. And no doubt, every one of you, when you bought your homes, you wanted the same thing. Our neighborhood is safe. It's quiet, it's convenient. We have a feeling of community that's really hard to describe. The possibility of Flowerdale Commons' long-term effect is going to destroy our little community as we know it. Traffic issues, safety, loss of property value, and probably most of all, for most of us, peace of mind. We as voters and tax-paying citizens urge you, our city council members, to please listen to our voices, and the business owners and the surrounding residents that have already voiced their concerns regarding this development. Please respond fairly, lawfully, and put us first. We live here. We're invested into it. I don't know how much time I have left. I'm not going anywhere. Adrian's not going anywhere. Cindy's not going anywhere. And I actually love it here. It's the smallest place I've lived in 50 years. But I do love it. But we're invested, so please put us first. We do not need nor do we want Flowerdale Commons at the location where it's proposed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So at this time, we're going to close the correction. Three more people called in. Now they have notified us they weren't going to be here. I'm just going to double check and make sure they're here. Mark Durham, Beverly Blaylock. I think Beverly had a statement she wanted to introduce. Is that correct? If you can bring that up to me, I'll read her statement so we can put it into the record. Thank you. So this is Ms. Blaylock's statement. This is Beverly Blaylock, the owner of Sweet Tea and Biscuits and the marketplace located at 2025 McCullough Boulevard. I've been located here over 10 years, worked very hard to build my business and to be a contributing business owner at Tupelo. We have received national recognition as well as being one of the governor's favorite places to dine here in Tupelo. Very upset about the proposed Flowerdale Commons apartments and the effect it will have on our business, on the area business. While I support affordable housing, it makes no sense to put it in this pocket of northwest Tupelo. We need to protect our property values and school districts so we can continue to attract the likes of Toyota and Westmark Industries. I humbly ask you to uphold the planning committee's decision to deny Flowerdale Commons. Thank you, Beverly Blaylock. Let me see if you could put that into the minutes, please. And then the last is either Sheila or Dan Franklin we're going to speak. Did they send a statement?
Yes.
You can bring it to me and I'll read it into the minutes. He's not on here to speak, but we'll take it and we'll put it into the minutes. Okay, this is a statement to the Tupelo City Council, Mayor Jordan, in regards to the proposed apartments at Colonial Estates Road. As the owner of Franklin Collection Service located at Jackson Extended and the Tupelo Buffalo Park on Cully Road, opposed the proposed apartments because they would not benefit the McCullough Boulevard, Colonial Estates Road area, or the city of Tupelo. My understanding is that the city code, as well as the city's comprehensive plan, protection against multifamily apartments in this area. I take pride in being a good citizen, support many good causes in Tupelo, and appreciate the city council's consideration. Dan Franklin. And then from Walter Partlow, this letter is in conjunction with my displeasure in the building of another apartment complex owner near McCullough Boulevard. I feel that while this is a need for additional affordable housing in the city of Tupelo, building an apartment complex in Colonial Estates Road may become property value concern for businesses and property owners in the area. Also, there is a possibility of an expense of the street needing to be widened to control the increased traffic. This short note is asked to consider denying this project. An example of concern would be considering the senior living facility that's located in the back door of these buildings. Thank you, Walter Partlow, Tupelo Tire and Wheel. So at this time, we'll close the public agenda and open the regular session, and we'll go to the action agenda, item 10. in the matter of review, approve, reject major site plan application MSP 22-01 for Flowerdale Commons Apartment Development.
Mr. Chairman, my motion is to reject this major site plan application MSP 22001 for Flowerdale Commons Apartment Development.
Do I have a second for Mr. Palmer's motion?
Second.
I have a second by Chad Mims. So I have a motion by Buddy Palmer and a second by Chad Mims. Do we have any discussion? We'll start with Chad.
Yeah, I think it's been said enough times by our citizens that have stood up on the podium and expressed their concerns. So I just echo those and stand behind my constituents, which I represent.
Okay. Janet?
I agree with what Chad just said. I feel like I really need to stand behind my constituents and represent them as I cast my vote.
Rosie? Buddy?
Yes, I believe that one of the most, if not the most important part of being a councilman is always listening to the people. And the people have spoken. I think they've spoken very well. I think that everything that I've heard, I agree with, totally agree with. And I think that we have got some issues maybe with some of our codes that may be a little bit, the interpretation may be a little crazy right now. So yes, if as a councilman you stop listening to the people in your ward, the people who elected you, or even the people in Tupelo, I think you've done a real bad job as a council person. Thank you.
Ms. Daddy?
I do not support the motion. I have been a council person for 21 years, and I believe in giving support to all areas of the city. I also have high respect for the developmental services and their expertise in making decisions that will be fair to the public. Tupelo is growing, and there's a very much needed area for affordable housing. In many of the largest cities, they have apartments. Everybody cannot afford a home. And so for that reason, I have to think about all of the citizens of Tupelo. These apartments are supposed to be for working people. They are not, as some of us said, for low-income people. I taught school, and I may not even fit into the financial category that was mentioned related to these apartments. School teachers just didn't make a whole lot of money, but I don't consider myself low income. So I think that Tupelo is growing, and it's time for us to give consideration to all citizens and where they live. So for that reason, I cannot support the motion.
Mr. Beard?
Mr. President, I have some statements to make. I just want to say to the people who came here tonight, those who have texted me, called me on the phone, I hear what you're saying. Ms. Cresswell made, part of her statement was that she would hope that the council would lawfully follow the guidelines. And it's from that standpoint that I have made my decision. I met by way of conference call yesterday with the Colonial Estates opposition kind of team, and the issue comes down, in my opinion, to is this district a mixed-use employment district, and what does it take to satisfy that statement? And I'd like to read from this is from a statement that was sent to me from Blake Mendrop, who says, although apartments appear to be a permitted use, it is clear that the intent of the zoning is to have them mixed with other uses. So that's the statement, as I understand it, from the group I met with. They should be mixed. From our city zoning and developmental code, I have two statements here, one from Russ Wilson. It says this site is zoned mixed-use employment, which permits multifamily construction by right, thus the property is properly zoned for its intended use. I also have a statement from our past Director of Developmental Services, Pat Faulkner, who made this statement: this site is zoned mixed-use employment, which permits multifamily construction by right, thus the property is properly zoned for its intended use. I do not believe for 1 second that whatever decision is made here tonight will be final. I believe that both parties have representatives. They both spoke the other night in presenting their case. So the decision of the council tonight, in my mind, is not going to be a final decision. I think it will be challenged, and I look forward to hearing what the results of that decision is. With that said, there was one issue concerning traffic, and I believe our planning committee, and I want to give a shout out to them for their service to the city, their dedication. And if I understood them right the other night, their decision was made based on, they did not feel that the traffic, that the road was suitable for the traffic that would be added to that area. In contrast to that, there are 3 different engineering services that have, when we met the other night, there were 2. Now there are 3. One ESI from Tupelo, one CKS Engineering Services from Brandon, Mississippi, and one W.L. Burrell from Oxford, Mississippi. And they, all 3 of these certify that the road can handle the traffic. So I'm a retired school teacher. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a specialist. I'm not an engineer. But you see, the issue is legal at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And I will vote to support our planning and developmental services group. And they are actually recommending that that apartment complex go forward. I look forward to seeing the outcome because I think it will be challenged.
So with all that said, the motion is to reject the major site plan. All in favor of rejecting the site plan, please raise your hand. Chad? Chad, are you rejecting it, Chad? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
So 3 to reject. All in favor of opposing the rejection of the site plan, raise your hand. So the motion fails. Do we have a motion to approve the major site plan application MSP 22-01?
I move that we would approve the major site plan application.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Nettie Davis and a second by Rosie Jones. Is there need to be any further discussion? All in favor of approving the site plan? All opposing? Chad?
Me.
The site plan is approved 4-3. Item 11, in the matter of review and approve and reject a major site plan application of MSP 22-02 for Tulip Creek Apartment Development.
Mr. Chairman, my motion would be to reject this major site plan application for Tulip Creek Apartment Developments.
I have a motion to reject the plan by Buddy Palmer. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Janet Gaston. Discussion, we'll start on Ms. Netty's side this time. Nettie?
I don't have any additional motion, discussion other than I feel the same way that Tupelo is a growing place. The developmental service has put a lot of efforts into working with the committee who with the contractors in approving doing what was requested of them. Both groups have followed all of the rules. I feel like Tupelo is a growing place, and there is a need for affordable housing, and so therefore I object. I don't support the this particular issue. I don't support it.
Basically the same statement that I made earlier hold true. We did have some opposition to that site from the community. The road was mentioned as well in that area. That road, along with the one in Flowerdale Commons, I think are ranked in our city street the same. They have the same rating. I forget what there was, a C38, some rating by the city. But I would have the same concern there as I had with the other one.
Buddy?
Yes, my concerns are the same. I represent that ward. I represent the people. I'm happy to represent them, and I listen to them, and I'm gonna back them. So that's my comments. Any
comment, Rosie?
The only comment I have is, it's not where you live, it's how you live. And I'm a product of low-income apartment housing, and also a college graduate from 2 schools, with not one major, but 3, math, science, and English. My mother did not graduate from high school, but she made sure all her kids did. We all went to school. Now I have 3 grown children of my own who are also college graduates. One is in the Army, and one is about to start her career as a flight attendant, and also go to Jackson State University to finish up her degree. My oldest teaches school. She taught 4 years at Mississippi State. So now she's here because of the pandemic. She teaches at Verona School, where she feels she's most needed. So again, it's not where you live, it's how you live, what you instill into your children. Honesty, trust, working hard, but above all, we put God first in my home. And if God be for us, He's more than the whole world against us. So I support it.
Janet?
Well, I just want to say that I've listened to all of the things that everybody in here has listened to, and the thing that hit me the hardest was that we are above 40% rental properties in Tupelo. And with a national average of 36%, I think that we're headed down the wrong track when we increase our rental properties with apartments. I think what we need to focus on is getting more affordable single-family homes. I think that's what people want. I think if we just keep people in rental properties and apartments, they're going to stay there because there's nothing else available. So my whole thing about this is that I don't want Tupelo to continue down this path of increasing the number of rental units in our city. We need to look at, and there are ways to purchase some of the smaller homes in Tupelo that are in disrepair and fix them up and turn them into properties that can be owned at an affordable level. So I don't get phone calls about our streets, and I don't get phone calls about somebody's grass being cut from people that live in rental properties. I get it from homeowners. And that's what people ultimately would really rather have. Instead of rental properties, they'd rather own their own home.
Chad?
Yeah, I just want to mention that, we as elected officials are represent our wards and our constituents. And, you know, the ones that have voiced their opinions multiple times and their concerns, I feel like as elected officials, it's our duty to listen to them and to speak for them. We're a voice for them in each of our wards. And it's not about, you know, the type of housing. It's not about any of that. To me, it's about listening to our constituents. And I'll say for my ward, I did not have one person reach out to me in support of the project. It was all in opposition. And then, so therefore, I feel like it's my job as an elected official, the people that voted for me, to stand behind that and make the best decision based upon the majority that, you know, that I heard from. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. So, at this time, the motion is to reject the major site plan. All in favor of rejecting the site plan, raise your hand. Chad?
Yep.
I have 3 opposed to rejecting it. All in favor of, in disagreement with the motion, raise your hand. The motion fails. Do I have a motion to approve the site plan?
I move that we will approve the site plan.
I got a motion by Nettie Davis. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second by Travis Beard. Any more discussion? All in favor of approving the site plan, raise your hand. All in favor of rejecting the motion to approve the site plan, raise your hand. Chad?
Yep.
The motion carries 4-3. At this time, we go to the routine agenda. Item 12, in the matter of approval of minutes of the regular meeting of July the 19th and a special call meeting of July the 26th.
Second.
I got a motion by Buddy Palmer and a second by Travis Beard. All in favor? Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries.
Yep.
In the matter of bill pay, bill pay was...
pay the bill.
I got a motion by Travis Beard. Who I got a second from? Second from Nettie Davis. The bills are paid by Travis, Nettie, and Buddy, and they were supervised by Jennifer Shumpert. All in favor? Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries. In the matter of advertising and promotional items, we have some items tonight. Did you have one missing?
It was the high school ad.
It was just a high school
football ad, I think.
We had the ad for the football ad and the back to school ad, I believe. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Hold on a second. In the matter of 4 new bank accounts for state funds.
I need to
Got a motion by Janet Gaston.
No, I got to
Oh, yeah, and Janet's got to recluse herself. Do I have a motion on the matter of 4 new bank accounts for state funds?
We approve.
Second.
I got a motion by Travis Beard and a second by Buddy Palmer. Kim?
Yes, thank you. At the last council meeting, you approved 4 MOUs for state funding in a total of $1,750,000. It will be for 4 projects. The next step in that process to get those funds is to open 4 separate bank accounts to hold all 4 of those projects separately. The money will be held in those accounts if you so approve, and then we will expend those funds. And once the funds are expended, we will close those bank accounts.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor? Chad?
Yep.
The motion carries 6-0 with 1 abstention. Somebody call Janet, please. Item 16, do I have a motion in the matter of Budget Amendment 8 for fiscal year 2022?
I move that we would approve the budget amendment number 8.
Second.
I got a motion from Nettie and a second by Travis Beard. Kim?
Yes, this is the 8th amendment for fiscal year 2022. I went into detail yesterday. I won't go into quite that much detail unless anyone has any questions. But I will move forward with the general fund. It is the largest that we're amending for a total of $1,958,019. The bulk of this is is use tax money that was not anticipated in quite that large of amount. We will be transferring that to the capital funds if you approve, and this will be used for overlay. We are also asking to increase development services by $8,000, the police department for $20,000, fire department for $75,000, public works for $150,000, park and rec for $100,000, aquatics for $10,000, all for increased cost of supplies, for fuel adjustments that are needed, as well as a few unexpected expenses that I went in detail yesterday over. We are also asking for you to accept a donation from the Sports Council for the improvements needed. It's in the park and rec budget, but it's improvements to the fiveplex at the baseball field. In addition to that, we all received an update from Jeff Tomlinson at the library that they would expect that the finished bookmobile will be ready this fiscal year, and hopefully take possession of that. Once they build, we can transfer our commitment of $12,500 to the library, just in case that commitment could not be honored in fiscal year 2022. I ask that we transfer those funds to the library fund where it will automatically roll over and those funds will not expire. So I'm also asking to decrease the community service and transfer that out, as well as the use tax that you see. The other funds that I'm asking to update and amend are the Capital and Infrastructure Fund to receive those use tax funds, as well as to transfer some of the revitalization funds to purchase a property. This will continue to use those funds like we have in the past to purchase property. That will be in the amount of $162,000. We've already spent $142,000 for 3 properties that you have already approved, $142,000, but we're asking for an additional $20,000 for some property that may become available before the end of the fiscal year. If it does not, we will not spend those funds. Also, too, the GEO Water Bond Fund, we're asking to amend that $350,000. The 0.25% sales tax, which will be transferred to the water district, has come in higher than anticipated in the original budget by $350,000. We're asking to transfer those funds. We're also asking to amend the tourism fund. This will correct amendment number 7. Instead of increasing their fund, we just transferred it from one fund to another. We're expecting to spend some of those funds in projects, so we're asking to put that $150,000 back and pull it from their reserve. They've got over $6 million in reserve, and we're asking to spend some of those funds. So we are asking to increase their budget $150,000. The Coliseum Operating Fund, they have had a very successful year thus far. They have sold a lot of supplies, refreshments. They've had several expenditures this year. They've also received revenue from concession sales, and we are asking to put that $60,000 back to finish out 2 more months in the fiscal year. We will end at September 30th, and I think those funds will be needed for the various events that we've got scheduled. Also, the library fund, that's self-explanatory that I went through just a little while ago. Hold those funds in case we have to roll those, as well as the water and sewer fund. We're asking to increase supplies $200,000 for those. That is simply just price increases. They have been able to do and buy less with the same amount of money just because prices have gone up. The sanitation fund, we are working toward permitting a Class 2 rubbish site, so I'm asking to increase the sanitation fund $50,000. This $50,000 may not be needed, but just to complete the fiscal year out, if we have engineering fees and fees from the state of Mississippi for this, we're anticipating that will be around $50,000. And last, the thoroughfare phase 6 fund, we're asking to transfer those funds and close that fund out. We'll be transferring those to another thoroughfare fund, the phase 7 fund. Once these projects are complete, we pay the final bills on that. We hope to close that fund out, and it will remain in the thoroughfare fund, but it will go to phase 7. And that is it.
Questions?
If you bring another one that long again, you're going to have to go sit in timeout.
I apologize.
All right, so we're going to start with questions. Nettie, you have any questions?
No, I don't have any.
Travis?
No.
Buddy?
Yes, do you need a bottle of water? Okay, that's it.
Rosie? Janet?
No.
Chad?
No.
All in favor of approving Budget Amendment 8 for 2022, raise your hand. Chad? Motion carries. Item 17, and do I have a motion in the matter of appointment of Mike Armour to the Coliseum Board?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Janet Gaston and a second by Buddy Palmer. And who is?
Mike is here somewhere.
He was here. We sat down and talked to him. Where did he go?
He may get intimidated by all the people.
He must have got caught up and rolled out with them when they all
He
got
got
up and left.
cold feet.
So Mike is the chairman of the Appalachian Regional Commission for this area, and a longtime resident of Tupelo, and he'll be a very good appointment to the Coliseum Commission. Do we have any questions? All in favor? The motion, Chad, motion carries. Item 18, in the matter of lot mowing.
Move to approve the lot mowing list.
I got a motion by Travis Beard and a second by Buddy Palmer. I think we had 3 items on the lot mowing list, Tanner.
Yes, sir. Just ask that you approve those 3 lots.
Okay, any questions?
I just like to commend the community for keeping their yards cut and look like they're following the rules of the city.
They're finally catching on, Miss Nettie.
Yeah.
Very good. All in favor? The motion carries. Item 19, in the matter of review and approve cleaning and debris removal of 1015 Chickasaw Trail.
Move that we approve.
Second.
I got a motion by Travis Beard and a second by Nettie Davis. Tanner?
Mr. President, 1015 Chickasaw Trail, we've got a property there that, as your packet shows, there's a lot of debris and rubbish that needs to be removed. We've tried to work with the property owner for several months to get that cleaned up. Unfortunately, this is the second time that the city's had to go in to clean up the property. Just ask that the council adjudicate the property so we can get that cleaned up.
Thank you. Any questions of Tanner? All in favor? Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 20, in the matter of unmarked police and the unmarked vehicle resolution.
I move that we would approve the unmarked vehicle resolution.
Second.
I got a motion by Nettie Davis and a second by Buddy Palmer. John?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. According to state statute, I must provide to you a list of vehicles we use that are not marked, and you should have in front of you that current list of vehicles that we use that are not marked.
Any questions? I think we used to do this on an annual basis, and I think we have to do it, every 3 or 4 months now?
I think this is the 3rd time I've done it.
That's right. Okay. All in favor? Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 21, in the matter of special police detail officer list update.
I move we approve this update.
Second.
I got a motion by Buddy Palmer and a second by Travis Beard. John?
Yeah, so many of my officers work part-time jobs, off-duty jobs, and the city council has the ability to allow us to wear our uniforms and our equipment at specific jobs that you predetermine. 2 of those predetermined jobs are the Bancorp South Arena and the mall at Barnes Crossing. This would be an updated list of those officers that may or may not work those part-time jobs.
Yeah, just so the public knows that the location that the officers work has to provide all the insurance and liability, and the city has no liability in it.
Correct.
Any questions? All in favor? Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 22, in the matter of a bid approval 2022-026, PW, the 6-month hot mix supply.
Move that we approve the 6-month hot mix supply.
Second.
Got a motion by Buddy Palmer, I've got a motion by Travis Beard and a second by Buddy Palmer. Chuck?
Yes, sir. This is just a bid for our 6-month supply of hot mix. This is our day-to-day mix. This has nothing to do with pays or anything like that. We had one bidder at $115 a ton.
Any questions? All in favor?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 23, in the matter of bid rejection 2022-027, 24 PW McNeese Street epoxy line culvert improvement.
I move that we would approve the bid of rejection of the epoxy line curb improvement.
Got a motion by Eddie Davis, second by Travis Beard. Chuck?
Yes, sir, this is a project we've been working on, we got half of it done. This is the second part of it, and the engineering estimate come in at $85,000. The one bidder come in at $178,780, so that's not gonna fit our budget, so, yeah, that's for rejection, please.
So do I have a, all in favor of rejecting the bid? Please raise your hand. Chad?
Yeah.
The bid is rejected. Item 24, in the matter of bid 2022-028 PW Clark Place Drainage Arch Pipe Replacement. Chuck? Oh, I'm sorry, have a motion?
I think we wanted to reject that, so I move that we reject this bid.
Okay, so the motion has been to reject the bid by Travis Beard and a second by Buddy Palmer. Chuck?
Yes, sir, this is the same deal, this is affects Jefferson Street, Clark Place. We had 6 bidders, a little bit better than that. The engineering estimate was $197,200, and it come in at, the low bidder was $247,000, the high bidder was $683,000. So again, that's out of our range for this project.
So go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, let me ask something, Chuck. So apparently all of this is coming because supplies are more expensive, et cetera. So when we rebid this, you're gonna have to go up a little, aren't you?
We are, yeah. They're gonna, the engineers will check prices a couple days before and try to get a little closer on everything. But, yeah, it's just.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, this is like 4 or 5, I've had to ring you off.
I got you. Thank you.
Good. All in favor of rejecting the bid, raise your hand. Chad?
Yep. Yep.
The bid's rejected. Item 25, in the matter of the CBB minutes of July the 19th.
Move we approve these minutes.
Second.
I got a motion by Buddy Palmer and a second by, was that Janet or Rosie?
Janet.
Janet Gaston. All in favor of approving the minutes? Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 26, in the matter of approval of the Traffic Committee minutes from July 21, 2022.
So moved.
I got a motion by Janet Gaston and a second by Rosie Jones. Anything out of the minutes, Johnny, that were anything special, or was it just routine?
No, we're good.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand. Chad?
Yep. Yep.
Motion carries. Item 27, in the matter of bad debt write-off for January 2021 through June 2021.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Travis Beard and a second by Nettie Davis. Johnny?
As the council knows, we're required to every 6 months retire the bad debt file. This group would be the January 21st, 2021 to June 2021. We collected during that period just a shy of $33 million during that period. And the bad debt was $24,422, which is 0.07%. So again, one of the lowest we've experienced.
All in favor of writing off the bad debt, raise your hand. Chad? Motion carries. Item 28, in the matter of approval of Bancorp South Arena minutes for June the 20th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Nettie and a second by Buddy Palmer. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 29, in the matter of approval to submit the 2022 Department of Public Safety Premium Pay Grant.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Janet Gaston and a second by Buddy Palmer. Who was talking on that?
Abby.
Abby?
Right there.
There she is. Go for it.
The Mississippi Department of Public Safety has a responsibility of providing funds to law enforcement officers and firefighters for their help throughout the ongoing COVID-19 emergency. So I'm seeking approval this evening to submit for that grant and receive those funds.
Any questions of Abby? All in favor of approving the grant? Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 30, in the matter of the amendment to the City of Tupelo Code of Ordinances, Chapter 15, Licenses and Miscellaneous Building Regulations, Article 11, Mobile Vendors, Section 15-275J.
I move we approve this amendment.
Second.
Got a motion by Buddy Palmer and a second by Janet Gaston. Ben.
Thank you, President Brian. This is a very, I guess, surgical amendment to the mobile vendor ordinance. It amends one place in town that mobile vendors cannot set up on private property, and that's in subsection J. There's a little conflict between our general ordinance on mobile vendors and our development code in those zones, and we want to keep that from happening in the future, that coming up. So,
Any questions of Ben on the motion? All in favor of approving the motion, raise your hand. Chad?
Yep.
Motion carries. Item 31, in the matter of resolution approving the city to sign as co-sponsor with the Tupelo Airport Authority the TUP-SOG-3-28-0070-052-2022- grant agreement and adopting and ratifying the representations and assurances contained herein.
So moved.
Second.
And Mr. President, we do have Joe here. Ms. Nettie, this is Joe Wheeler, our airport director.
Hey, Joe. Joe, tell us what we got.
So this is roughly a little over $1.1 million for runway LED lighting, a runway remarking project, and design for an apron between taxiways, Hotel and Juliet. So this is the first grant I've got to do with this airport, so I hope y'all will approve it.
Good. Any questions to Joe?
Mr. Will, I appreciate your presentation, and we're happy to see you here tonight because we hadn't formally met you. So, but I'm very supportive of what you're presenting.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate what y'all are doing. And everybody, each entity runs meetings differently, and this actually seems really efficient the way y'all are doing things. So I appreciate that.
Good, thank you. All in favor of approving to co-sign the grant, raise your hand. Chad?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 32, reduction of bid for the Fairport restroom project. I got a motion by Buddy Palmer.
Second.
And a second by Travis Beard. Neil?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, this is a rejection of bids for the Fairport restrooms. We've been working on this, and unfortunately, the numbers came in too high, so we're going to go back to the drawing board and come back with another plan.
I'm just curious, how much were they?
The lowest bid was $505,000.
Plus a bathroom?
Yes, ma'am.
How many square feet? How many bedrooms?
It was just a little over 1,000 square feet.
Man.
So Rudd is here.
Hey, were they gold?
Yeah, Rudd is here.
Were they,
Yeah.
do they have gold?
We'll go back to the drawing board. That's not what we had in mind, and we will not go with that project.
I can assure you that construction prices are like out of sight in some areas. So some things might be kind of back to normal, but there's other things that go into a construction project that there's just no end in sight, and it changes daily. So I think the whole industry, especially in the public bid industry that Chuck's facing, and then the rest of the city's facing on some building projects and architects and all that, they're having to go through. They're just going to have to get it sorted out. So I don't think this is the end of bid rejections in the near time.
So Neil, you're kind of like Chuck is. You're faced with all these prices going up. So will your bid go up a little probably?
Well, what we'll have to do is we will go back and sit down with Prior Morrow. They've been great on this project. They've listened to us. We've tried to find some ways to save, and then we will have to come back and find the money somewhere in the budget. Where's Kim? So, but this is an important project. I know it's something we've talked about now for years, through multiple administrations. It is something that's needed. Just earlier today, I had to help a mom with 2 or 3 kids. She's trying to manage them. So it's something we need to do, and we'll come back with a solution. We'll get something done.
Will this, this architecture design that you all have come up with, will it have more than one male and female in there? Will it be unisex or what? I mean, what is it going to include more than 2 bathrooms?
Yes, ma'am. The original design, so the architectural design was that to kind of give us a sense of the old train depot in Tupelo, but it had individual restrooms. There were 4 individual restrooms. One was dedicated for women only, one was dedicated for men only, and then there were 2 family restrooms because so many families are in that area. So there were 4 individual rooms for the facility.
Good, thank you, Neil. All in favor of rejecting the bid? Chad?
Yep.
The bid's rejected. We're going to close the regular session and move to the study agenda. Item S1, in the matter of a tax abatement application for the Hotel Tupelo.
Move it up.
Move it up.
Move it up. And then item S2, the speed table policy.
Move it up.
Move it up. It's moved up. And so that means that both of them will go through a work session before they'll go back to the agenda. Okay. Ben, do we have a need for executive session?
No, sir.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
I got a motion by Buddy Palmer and a second by...
Second.
I got a second by Rosie Jones. All in favor of adjourning?
Yep.
City Council is adjourned. Chad, see you later, buddy.
They,